The thing, I guess, that frustrates me as just an average American citizen, but one that's kind of been there, done that. Houston is the 4th largest city in the United States of America. As you pointed out, its economy will be the 25th largest in the entire world. When are we going to learn that when the National Hurricane Center or NOAA or the National Weather Center uses the word catastrophic, which I think sometimes gets overused, but not by them, when are we going to learn that estimates of rainfall of 25 inches or 30 inches, and I'm not saying that the mayor should or should not have ordered a mandatory evacuation, but when do we start telling citizens the truth about, look, we're going to have 25, maybe 30 inches of rain. Our advice is not shelter in place, but if you can, if you have the ability 2 or 3 days in advance to make a trip to Dallas, San Antonio, Waco, wherever it needs to be, to get out of town, then do that. I don't think we've learned the lesson in this country that in the kind of urbanized society that we live in with all of the electronics and all of the great things that we have in this studio, for example, that you have in your studio, those things go down and you can't get those things back up and running for 2, 3, and in this case, maybe sometimes 5 or 6 days. People are going to be suffering, and they are suffering needlessly because they didn't need to be there.
Right. It seems like every time there's something like this, maybe the urging gets, gets louder, and it's like, please move. But human nature is tough to change in cases like that.
I think it's tough to change, and I think there's also a political reticence to not order a mandatory evacuation, right, because you do that, and then if the storm's not that quite bad, then there's political fallout.
Right.
And so I think there's a middle ground, and I think that middle ground is, look, here's what the forecasters say, here's what the National Hurricane Center says. You're going to be without power for 5, 6, 7 days. And people in a place like Houston, where it's going to be hot and muggy, it's still summertime, yeah, it's going to be hot, muggy, and miserable. You don't have your cell phone, you don't have your television, you don't have your radio, all those things, it's going to get frustrating.
A couple of days ago, you had an opinion piece, Mr. President, don't let Hurricane Harvey be your Katrina, and you're asking President Trump to use the bully pulpit. Number one, it's been a couple of days. Did he heed your advice, and what exactly do you think he should be doing right now with the bully pulpit?
Well, I'm not sure he heeded my advice, but I can tell you from folks that I've talked to inside the administration that he has done exactly what I was opining about in that piece. He has told the entire cabinet that, look, this is all hands on deck, and if Brock Long needs something, you give something to him. So whether that was because somebody read my article to him or not, I don't care. All I care about is he's told the federal government, yes, you do what needs to be done. And based on what I'm hearing Brock Long say in the interviews and the press conferences, he's getting what he needs. And I think that's an excellent sign for both the country and for FEMA itself.
As you look at things now, Michael, do you think the fallout of this is going to be greater or less than it was for Katrina?
Oh, in terms of economic fallout, all of that, I think it's going to be much greater. 4th largest city. And part of the problem is the media has a difficult time. It's easy when you have a hurricane to have somebody stand out and show the wind. And in a flood, it's easy to get somebody on an interstate overpass and they're in their waders and they show how deep the water is. But what the media can't show, which is very difficult to understand, is the massive numbers of homes where the water, that story you had about the baby being on the countertop. Well, imagine, it's hard for people sitting in Denver or sitting in New York to imagine water inside your home that is as high as your countertops. And Michael, then the kind of damage that causes when that water sits around for 2, 3, or 5 days, it's going to be very, very difficult to recover from that.
Hi, I'm Tanya Breyer, and that was just a taster of what you can find on CNBC Live. For more award-winning content, just click on the videos. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching.